On today's episode, we have another special guest, an actual repeat guest, Buffy Hagood, personal trainer who's at the very top of her game. Again, we've worked on your wealth. Now we're going to start focusing on your health. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Farm Truck Financial, where wisdom and wealth ride shotgun. Join Eric Kearney, president of Retirement Wealth Advisors, who believes that the best kind of planning happens when four tires hit the road. So hop in. Today, we're talking about investment strategies that drive results.
Farm Truck Financial, we're riding.
And we are back with Buffy Hagood, and I'm so grateful that you came back, Buffy. Thanks again for another great show. Let's talk about your designation on this show, because that really is important. It's something that you've worked really hard at, and you really do have a passion for it.
Yeah, so I am not just your run-of-the-mill personal trainer, right? I'm not helping people compete in bodybuilding shows and things like that. So a lot of people might look at me and be like, she's a personal trainer. She kind of looks like a regular person, right? I am a regular person. I just happen to have this really cool specialty where I focused my work on senior fitness. So I am a certified senior fitness specialist.
Right.
And then that led me to do some more education. I had a lot of folks coming to me that had different things that were going on with their bodies, their joints. They had surgeries. They were trying to avoid surgery, things like that. And so it started to make me realize that I needed a lot more education if I was going to be able to help these people navigate these things, right? So I did go ahead and get advanced training in what's called corrective exercise.
We actually had a gentleman come into my office years ago and kind of walking a little bit funny. His gait was off and everything. And I finally sat down with him because, I will ask somebody, I'm like, what's going on with you? Because really, we work with a lot of people about their finances, income planning, financial planning, tax planning, portfolio management. But it's more than that, right? If you really want to live a full and a dynamic lifestyle, you really want to incorporate everything into it, including your health. You know, I sent him to my massage therapist and I said, look, just give me 3 times, right? Go see her for 3 times. Today, he's still seeing her. This is years later, and he walks so much better. He's like, I don't have pain. I don't have discomfort. I'm actually walking correctly. His gait is better. How many people are not listening to their body?
Right. Interestingly enough, my career started out as a massage therapist. So I don't even know if you knew that about me.
I did, yeah.
So that is actually one of the things that drew me to personal training, is because it is great to go get a massage and it can help with so many things. But I don't know a lot of people that can afford to go get a massage every day. Right. And so what I was seeing with my clients was I wanted to figure out a way to actually improve their quality of life, not just for a few days after the massage, but what's the root cause? What's going on?
Right.
Being able to address things like a painful gait, right, usually has to do with things that are muscle imbalances. You've got some muscles that are overactive. You've got some muscles that are underactive. And that actually is the definition of corrective exercise, is when we look at those things specifically, and I design a program specifically for a gentleman like that. And recovery is a part of that program. And food as well, right? We know that excess weight can cause more exacerbation in joint problems and things like that. So that's why I say my practice, I focus on fitness, nutrition, and recovery.
It's well-rounded. It's a very well-rounded program.
Right. And it doesn't all have to be with one person, right? If he's got a great massage therapist, maybe he has an exercise class that he likes to go to. Maybe he likes to swim in the pool, or maybe he likes to bike. It's really about finding something that works for you.
Right.
And that's why I love personal training, right? It's just like personal finances, right? You're not going to recommend the same thing for me that you're going to recommend for one of your other clients. And so it really does make it extra rewarding when you're able to really hone in and focus on what can truly help that person live a better life.
I totally agree. And a lot of times we'll have a client come in, and they have accounts all over the place and they don't really know what their budget is. All we're really doing is trying to find the right combination. And I always say that your retirement really is a combination. We just have to figure out the right combination for you. So when we do an analysis and we're going through everything and we're doing a deep dive, it's the same thing that Buffy is doing only with your health and your body, right? When you sit down with a client, you really are doing a thorough like analysis of where they're coming from and who they are
Yeah,
first,
it
right?
really is about where they've been, where they're at, and where they're going. It
Right.
sounds really, really similar. That's cool.
It is. And the difference is that I've always said, people are like, "Oh, I'm going to start saving." Well, sometimes sometimes it is too late to save. And I've said that many times, like, you're really not going to make a huge difference in your retirement if you start saving at a later age. But with your health, I really do think that it's important. So in the next segment, we want to talk about why your health is so important to start today. Stay tuned.
Do you have questions and concerns about your money, lifestyle, and retirement? Like so many, investors today worry about living expenses, healthcare costs, inflation, and stock market volatility. Instead of worrying, start planning. Eric Kearney and his team at Retirement Wealth Advisors want to sit down, get to know you, and start to build a plan that matches your vision and goals. Let's have a real conversation about what's important to you and how we get there. We'll help build you a plan based on your goals, lifestyle, and income needs, with financial clarity over complexity. Call us today for a farm fresh second opinion. Remember, you only retire once, so let's get it right the first time.
And we're going to continue our conversation about strength training as we get older and how important this is. I'm seeing this all throughout my financial planning practice, and I know, Buffy, you see this every day too. So why are we working out today?
So first of all, we were talking in the last segment about how sometimes it's too late to start saving.
Right.
Well, it's never too late to start protecting what your health is and working on trying to improve that health, right?
Right.
Did you know you can actually build muscle mass at any age?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're not going to be out there competing in a bodybuilding contest, but most of us don't want that anyway.
Right.
One of the most rewarding things I hear from clients is how exercise and strength training has helped improve their daily living. I literally had a client in tears of joy telling me she was a widow and she was traveling for the first time by herself.
Oh, wow.
And she was so proud of herself that she was literally in tears that she was able to put her bag in the overhead compartment without her husband's help. And do you know that's not something she could have done when her husband was alive? Because he kind of did everything, right? She made a commitment to herself. If I'm going to be by myself, I need to stay strong. I need to be able to take care of myself. And so that's when she decided to seek out help. Probably like your clients. I'm sure you have a lot of clients who are now managing their lives without their husbands.
Correct.
And so they're coming to you to help them be stronger in their finances and help guide them in the right direction, right?
Yeah, and they're not done living. They're like, it's sad what has happened, right? My husband has passed away, or even my wife has passed away. I need to move on and still live my life. And so they are looking to live a better, stronger life. And that's why I think the whole fitness industry is just going to blow up again. I mean, it's already grown substantially, but I think over the next 10 years, it's just going to like blast off all over again.
Well, you're exactly right. And the fitness craze and everything kind of really started back in the 80s, if you remember, right? We had the Jane Fondas and the Richard Simmons, and then we had, the Arnold Schwarzeneggers and those guys, the bodybuilders and things like that. But a lot of times it didn't look like for people like you and me, right? It didn't look like people that are that 50, 55 and beyond.
Right.
And it was always focused on the younger people and kind of extremes, right? So really what we're going to see now and what we're already seeing is people understanding, hey, I may be a certain age on the clock, but I'm still pretty young and I got a lot of stuff to do, right? But the fact of the matter is the body does start to slow down if we're not giving it the signals that it needs to stay young and strong. And that signal, the loudest signal we can send to our body that it needs to stay young and strong is to actually challenge those muscles. And that's why strength training is so important. It is literally sending the signals to the body, hey, you got to stay strong. This guy does stuff.
Right.
This guy likes to go out and work around his cabin up in North Carolina.
Yeah.
He wants to do stuff, right? Like this chick, she likes to go fishing. She wants to be able to reel those big sharks in.
Right.
You know, and so when you're sending those signals to the body that it needs to hang on to that muscle mass, then you are actually guaranteeing that you're going to have a stronger, longer life.
Right. I love that. And believe me, driving that old farm truck is no easy task. It almost bounced me out of the seat the other day. I mean, the springs in the seat are so horrible. I'm going up this bumpy road and I'm thinking, oh, this is fun. And I literally thought I was going to get thrown out of the truck. But anyways, so the one thing I like about this is that we can change our finances. We can change our health and we can actually change that direction. A lot of times we're just looking for help. So what I want to talk about is, where do we start? How do we get started? How do you find a good personal trainer? And really, what is the first step?
Well, the first step is really recognizing what you need help with, right? So, do you need help with motivation, accountability, knowledge? Those are the things that some people really just have no idea how to help themselves with.
Right. I agree.
Not everyone needs a personal trainer, right? But some people really, really do. If they have specific injuries, they have specific instances of mitigations of things that they need to manage. Other people, it's really just finding a buddy, right?
Right.
So you need to first kind of take stock of who you are, where you're at, and what your goals are. And then you can say, you know what? I think this may be my best option.
Right.
And for a lot of people, getting some one-on-one help is that option.
Yeah, I agree with you. So everybody, on the next segment, we're going to talk about different exercises that you can do even as a senior. So we have a lot more coming to you. Stay tuned.
You know who has one of the toughest retirements? Procrastinators. You keep telling yourself, yeah, I'm going to get to that. But after months turn into years, you realize that time is one investment you can't buy back. The earlier you start, the longer your money works for you. Stop letting someday steal your future. The best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is right now. Don't let procrastination be the reason you work longer and retire smaller. Call us today for a complimentary review of your finances. And remember, you only retire once. So let's get it right the first time.
And let's talk about today, functional fitness. Now, this is one that I absolutely love, Buffy, because we can literally use this every single day. When I go up to my North Carolina property, I'm bringing my dog, and Bruno weighs 22 pounds. He's this little chunky thing. And when you look at him, he looks like he works out because he's like walking down there, you know, Mr. Tough Guy at 22 pounds. But I've got the dog and then I've got my bag. And it's like, we talk about the farmer's carry, like, you know, like you're carrying these two things. And when in Punta Gorda, you got to walk across the tarmac, you got to walk up this whole thing. And I'm literally walking out there and I'm like, I am so grateful right now because when you really look around you, people are pulling their luggage and having to take a break. They're struggling. And I feel like what I have done, my fitness is more functional now, right? My Speedo days, not that they ever existed, but are by far over, right? But now all of a sudden, I feel like it is functional. I can get through the day. If I have to move office furniture, I can do that. My back doesn't hurt. So let's talk about functional fitness and how this, because we always talk about how important it is for the next 5, 10, 20 years, and that's true. But what about today?
Right. So just to back up a little bit, for anybody that doesn't know what functional fitness is more about being able to make sure that you can still perform all of what we call the foundational or primal movements. So primal movements are the movements that all humans should be able to perform. Okay. It's actually about the way your joints work. So Bruno, your dog, his joints work differently than our joints. So his functional primal movements are going to be different than what ours are. But the reason why functional movements are so important is these are the things that keep you independent. You start losing one or more of these functional movements, you are headed for needing care. So let's talk about what those are. Okay. These are movements everyone, I don't care if you're 18 or 80, everyone should be able to perform these. So I want you to kind of do a little checklist in your head as we're going through these and see if you're how you're doing. Okay. It's a little scorecard. Okay. So can we squat? Can we do a squatting movement? Why is that important? Do you ever have to pick up anything off the ground?
Of course.
Right? So we want to be able to take care of ourselves in our home, right? If I need to get my big crock pot out from the bottom shelf, I need to be able to bend over and lift that without pulling my back, right? So also that goes along with a squat is a lunge, or you may want to think about that as a one-legged squat, right? Sometimes it's not appropriate to actually squat down and bend both knees. You need to be able to do one knee. You need to be able to get yourself up off the ground. Think about when you come up off the ground, you're usually using one leg more than the other.
And it's really interesting because we have a surgeon and he always says the closer that you get to 65, the more mobile you are and the better that you can get yourself up off of the ground. That is a huge sign of longevity in your life too. Mobility, and so inchworms, like we do inchworms in our gym quite a bit. I never liked them. I mean, inchworms are miserable, but when you get used to them, you start to realize I can actually get up and down.
Right.
And you see older people doing that, and what a great function to have. And I just think that I look at those people, I'm like, wow, that is it's not really a gift, it's earned, right? And that's the one thing about health. You have to earn it.
Yeah. Well, or at least you just have to protect it, right? Right. It doesn't have to be so severe, like, you don't deserve this unless you earn it.
Right.
Listen, God gave it to us. We just need to protect it, right? And there's some simple things that we can do. So you're exactly right. And one of the next primal movements we talk about is a push, right? There are some heavy doors out there. And if you're a smaller lady and you're older, you risk actually hurting your shoulder. Right? When you're trying to push open one of those heavy doors. So we need to have strong pec muscles and able to do that. Also, it comes in getting up off the ground, right? We also need to be able to do a pull, right? If I'm going to be able to get something, that case of water I bought at Costco out of my car, right? I'm going to need to be able to pull that towards me. So when we talk about these functional movements, and by the way, hinge is the other one, right? When you think about coming forward at the hip, right? So we need to be able to protect our back when we are in these situations. So push, pull, lunge, squat, hinge. These are the things that we need to be working on. And on top of it, you touched upon balance and stability, right? Balance and stability are naturally built when we do these exercises. So that's why strength training is so important, Eric. It's not to wear that Speedo.
Right.
Although I have that visual in my head now.
Sorry.
But it is about being able to travel. It's about being able to pick up your grandkids.
Right.
It's about being able to go out on the boat with friends and be able to actually climb onto that boat. It's about being able to help your friends and family.
Right. Buffy, thank you so much for being on today. I do have a parting gift for you. I don't want to see it on eBay because it's such a special gift, but there you go today.
Hey, I actually brought you something too, Eric.
Oh, stronger, longer. I love it.
All right,
Thank
that's
you
a
so
reminder.
much.
Keep doing those squats and deads, okay?
You got it. Everybody, reach out to Buffy for more information. Remember, you want to retire better, stronger. So reach out to us if you have any questions about your finances. And when it comes to your health, Buffy is absolutely at the top of her game. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks for riding along with us today. We hope you got some good dirt. If you liked today's show, subscribe, like, and share with all your farm truck friends. We hope you'll join us for the next ride on Farm Truck Financial, where we're always planting seeds for a better future, 1 mile, $1 at a time.
Farm Truck Financial, we're riding with you down the back road, steady and true.